And my therapist and Nicole were both like, look, you're okay. Like you're processing this, you're moving on. Just because you had a piece of paper that like legally bound you two together doesn't mean that your heart was different.
Well, Meghan, it is good to see you. And I'm so excited because you are getting back in reality TV a little bit with this Reality of Love show. So tell me a little bit about this.
Nicole and I have worked together on and off over the past few years. And she's really helped me in my love life and helped me to work through some things that I've been through in my romantic life and just like try to come out on the other side of it, a more whole individual. And so it just made a lot of sense that when she asked me to help her with Reality of Love, I was a willing participant and I couldn't wait to support her and her dream, but also to collaborate with other women and just see, you know, what we're all going through, how reality TV affected our lives and where we came out on the other side.
Definitely. So what kind of things have you learned from her regarding your love life?
I mean, I think Nicole's main thing is trust your intuition. And that's at least what I've gathered from her. She has cards, a deck of cards that I really like to use. Where are they? They're like right over here somewhere. Oh yeah, there they are. And here, I'll show you.
Yeah.
So here's her cards. They're really cool. And so it's like kind of like tarot card idea, but the idea behind these cards is much easier. So you just kind of like follow your heart, which is your intuition, and you pick a card. So like you can set an intention. Say my intention is like, what do I need to do to better myself today in order to like attract someone who's deserving? Then like, I just like think on that and then grab a card, and the card I grab says codependency and broken birds. So like, I can interpret that how I want to interpret that. Like, well, okay, codependency. Maybe I'm having some issues like being codependent, which a lot of relationships do struggle with. So that for me is like, just looking deeper into myself. And that's what the gift I think Nicole has given me.
I love that. What's your intention in love and relationships right now?
It's actually just looking at myself. My intention is to be in a full-blown, like long-term committed relationship. I'm not interested in hookups or like wasting my time with random one-offs. I'm interested in like focusing my energy on the one. Whoever that may be.
Whoever that may be. Talking a little bit more about the show, and we'll get into more dating life in a minute, but you know, the show obviously focuses on, other housewives. You're there with them, but how do you think the show Real Housewives affected your marriage? And do you think it would have been different if you weren't on the show?
Well, I talk about this on Reality of Love, and I do think it would have been different if I wasn't on the show. I think that what the show does is a lot of times provides women who are going on the show with a way, it provides us with a way to be in the spotlight. And we are in the spotlight more than our husbands. Like, we're the housewives, we're the star of the show. And I think unless you have a very strong partner who's able to kind of be in that shadow a little bit, I think that can make the man potentially feel emasculated or slighted, or just like, he's just not, the man wouldn't be necessarily used to that role. And so in my circumstance, I was married to a very famous baseball player. And then all of a sudden here I am taking the spotlight after he's already retired from baseball. Now, this is totally theoretical, but I can't imagine that would be very easy to then like, watch that shift happen, because now all of a sudden I'm working all the time and I'm like, doing press. I'm still doing press with you. Mm-hmm. And so that's, I think was difficult for him. So where does a weak partner get his validation from? Like, that's the $1 million question, like, do they seek from other women or from like self-medication? Who knows? But I think that definitely lent to like the beginning of the demise of our relationship. However, I think, having said that, any relationship that's like a little bit rocky and goes on reality television, and like you are then able to see your relationship through the lens of like, 30,000 feet, that's going to kind of highlight some things that you might not have thought were even problems in the first place.
Right. Yeah. It puts like a magnifying glass on everything. It really does. I mean, in hindsight, everything probably worked out the way that it was supposed to, but do you ever regret putting your relationship on reality TV? Would you ever do it again?
I don't think that it's something I'm like trying to do again with a relationship on reality TV, but like, I think I've gone the other way. Like, I was married to a famous person, and now I really just don't have any desire to be with anyone who has any sort of like a social media footprint whatsoever. And I'm sure that's in reaction to kind of what I went through with sharing the spotlight. Like, I don't want anyone to feel like they're in competition with me. But I mean, recently I went on a date with a guy who is in the spotlight, and that like kind of opened my eyes up to a new world of like, well, maybe this could be a good thing. So I don't know. I'm still kind of exploring every situation that could be out there.
Sure. I mean, talk a little bit about Mike. I mean, have you guys been on any other dates since the iHeart Festival? Like, what was it about him that kind of really sparked your interest?
Well, we were set up. So I was like, okay, obviously he's so hot. And I Googled him and it said he was 5'11", and I'm 5'11". So I was like, whatever. He's not that tall. No, he's like 6'4". So that was a good surprise. Yeah. And yeah, we've been talking. I definitely totally like him and enjoyed his company. And yeah, I hope to see him again.
Yeah. Could you see this potentially? I mean, I know you guys just went on like a couple dates, but I know that you are looking for that full blown relationship. Could you potentially see that in him? Is that something that he's looking for as well?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he is looking for that. I mean, he was on The Bachelor or The Bachelorettes, and that's like the whole premise of the show. So I would assume he is, but I can't put words in his mouth. But he's definitely, I think like on a path to finding love, as am I. And it doesn't seem like he's playing around. So I respect that immensely.
Yeah. So you guys have been talking since then and have plans to meet up?
Well, like I'm going to Austin for a different thing, which is where he lives. Okay. So hopefully I'll see him then. Yeah.
Yeah. Are you open to
in a couple weeks or something? I know, it's fun.
It is fun. Does it get you excited again about getting back out there?
Yes. And also it was really cool to kind of like hang out with Bachelor Nation at the iHeartRadio Festival, because we're all reality stars. We're all in this like exclusive club together, and we understand what that means. And it's just nice to have that solidarity of understanding in my presence. And like to be able to walk the red carpet with Mike, who's so charismatic and just so much fun and charming and kind. It was like, I've never had that before. So that was my interest was piqued, and I'm like, well, wait, maybe this isn't such a bad thing after all.
Right. I mean, why did you guys decide to like walk the red carpet together? Because obviously everybody was then talking about your dating life and being like, oh God, are they together? Are they not together? So what was kind of the backstory behind that?
I don't know. I mean, do you see him? Like, he's gorgeous. And we definitely were there together. So, if we're going together, why not? We did walk the carpet together, but we just posed a few times. Mm-hmm. And then, we were posing on our own too. Yeah. So, yeah.
I didn't know that you guys talked about it. You guys did kiss. I mean, did you get those sparks and those butterflies?
Yeah. Yeah. I think I did. Yeah. It was great. Yeah. We had a good time. I actually do spill all of the details on my podcast. Mike and I just did an episode the day after our first date, and we talked about everything. I was so embarrassed, but I felt like a teenager talking to him about our date. Like, people don't download about their first dates.
That's so true. Awkward. You don't sit down and like dissect it the day after, right?
No. So it was so awkward, but like that's all on the podcast.
Yeah. I mean, what's it like kind of relaunching the podcast? Is there anything off limits? Are you excited to be going down on this venture on your own again?
I'm super excited to be back. It's just me this time. I don't have any co-hosts, and I'm going to be discussing a lot about my dating life, and it's definitely rated R, like don't turn it up with the kids in the car. And I'm going to be so honest. And I already have been so honest. We're only 2 episodes in, and I've just like shared way more than I ever thought I would. I told my parents they're not allowed to listen. And I want it to be fun and light and funny. I'm a 38-year-old single mother of 3 kids, one of whom has a disability. I live in the middle of America. I travel all the time. And what's that like to date with a life like that? Mm-hmm. And so I'm just going to kind of, what's it like to use the apps, and what's it like to meet, organically, or to be set up on a blind date. So I'm just going to explore all of those different scenarios while I'm still single.
I love that. How's your son feeling?
He's good. He's doing great.
Good.
Yeah.
Good to hear. What is it like navigating dating as a single mom? What's the most challenging thing for you?
Time. Like I mean, it's so hard to work around like my schedule with my kids. I have them the majority of the time. So it's definitely, that's the hardest thing. Like I was just thinking, oh, I can go, see this guy that I'm kind of talking to. See, I'm spilling things with you in New York, and I'll bring one of my kids. Like that's what I'm thinking in my head, because if I bring a kid, then I feel less guilty and I'll like take the kid and do stuff. But then I'm like, wait a minute. Then I have a kid and the kid is introduced to the guy. Like, no, I'm not doing that. So that makes it harder.
Definitely. Well, I have to follow up with that. So are you dating multiple people now? Are you kind of seeing, seeing what's out there? I'm
like a serial monogamist. So I wouldn't say that I'm dating multiple people right now, but I'm not even dating anyone right now. So I'm just playing the field.
Playing the field. Are you using like the dating apps and things like that? Is that how you're meeting people? I know you said you met Mike through work and things like that, but how are you meeting other people?
So Raya, the app for like people in the entertainment field, I use that a lot because I really haven't had success with local apps in St. Louis. I feel like a lot of people in St. Louis just like struggle to wrap their head around my lifestyle. Whereas like LA, New York, like they get that fast life a little bit more. But it's funny because I only have a fast life like in cities where, like LA or New York, but in St. Louis, I'm just a traditional mom. Like I do all the same, like I was just texting the moms on the soccer text today, like for my daughter. So, but then I think like there's this other side of me that's very like, it's very unusual for St. Louis. And so that's the part that it's been hard for like potential suitors to identify with.
Yeah, I'm sure must be a lot of interesting matches on Raya, I would imagine.
Oh my gosh, who did I just see on there? This morning sometimes I just scroll through because I'm really not that interested in like totally trying to make matches, but I'll scroll through to see who's famous on there. So today was Brett Eldridge and somebody else, like a famous actor. I forgot his name, but I recognized him and I clicked on, he had like 2 million followers. So I was like, okay, he's famous. It's like, I've seen Chris Rock on there. Like,
yeah, that's amazing.
Right?
That's what I would spend my entire day doing, is just seeing who is on that app.
But you can't screenshot because it's like, you'll get kicked off the app. So you have to have like another phone handy to take a picture to like
Seriously.
Send it to all your friends.
I love that. Do you want to stay where you are right now? Did you ever think about moving back to OC or anything like that? Or do you like where you are?
Yeah, I mean, I both. I mean, all of the above. I think that like with my career in podcasting and working in social media, I would be best to live probably in LA and then second best in New York, but St. Louis is in the middle. So I get on a plane and get there, but St. Louis has a lot of perks. My kids go to great schools. I have a huge family here. I have friends who are the salt of the earth who I could never replace. And so for that, I'm so grateful. But like I said, I think I just wish I could bring like, I don't know, a little bit of New York and LA to St. Louis, but then it wouldn't be St. Louis anymore.
That's true. That is very true. I know on the podcast, your first episode, you opened up a lot about the headlines about you, about what's true, what's false, and things like that. I mean, as of right now, I know that the temporary restraining order was dropped. Have things changed between you and Jim at all? And where is your co-parenting relationship right now?
Well, the temporary restraining order was dropped, but we entered into a consent order that keeps the same terms as the restraining order. So it wasn't dropped due to like a lack of fear. It was dropped because it just changed. It just evolved and changed. And so because of that, I feel safe, and I was able to avoid like the drama and like publicness of going to court and publicness. No. And things have really just, ever since I got the TRO, things have pretty much stayed they've been better. They've been, yeah, like just very even, I think. And plus he's in Italy right now. So he's like, he just got married. So he's totally leaving me alone. It's like his wedding day was also the best day of my life.
I mean, I was going to ask, how do you feel that he is remarried?
I'm celebrating. Like, he's spending massive, whopping, inconceivable amounts of money on this bride. Like, I am all for it. Whatever it takes, keep her around. Like, take her on lavish trips, buy her Ferraris and Chanels and private jets. Like, do anything you can to keep this woman, because I don't know what would happen if she was gone. Like, he would fall apart.
Yeah. Why do you say that? Why do you think that they're such a good match then? Why do you want to keep her around so much?
Well, I think, first of all, stability for my children. She's, that's who my children have known for the last 3 years. And that stability is really important. Like, I haven't been able to give them that stability in a partner, which is like a huge piece of mom guilt for me. But at least Jim, with his mountain of faults, is able to provide that. Like, and so I'm going to give him props where props are due. But, so that's my number one. My number two is, if I have to get a TRO while he's supposedly with the happiest person, like his love of his life, and he's the happiest he's ever been, and I still had to get a TRO during that time, imagine what it would be like if he's unhappy.
Right. Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense. I mean, do your kids have a good relationship with both of them?
They seem to. Yeah, they seem to. They like Courtney. They don't ever have anything bad to say about her. Mm-hmm. So, and they like going to their dad's house for the most part. I mean, they're young kids and they like consistency. So kids will be kids, but yeah.
Are you sending a wedding gift?
Oh my gosh, I should. What should I get? What should I send him?
I don't know. I don't know. I'd have to think about that one. It has to be something really good, right?
I know, right? Or like really cheeky.
Right.
We'll have to think on that.
Totally. Do you guys communicate? Do you have to like communicate through lawyers, or do you guys communicate one-on-one?
We communicate through an app called Our Family Wizard, which is it's kind of I think a standard app. I've heard a lot of people use it in the court system with contentious custody cases. Mm-hmm. So, so that's how we communicate.
Yeah. Yeah. And your kids are thriving. They're doing really well.
Yeah, they're doing great. It was like, they're so cute. They're getting to be so much fun. Mm-hmm. Like I'm obsessed with them.
Oh, good. What kind of things are they into right now?
So Hart is into slime, and he's really into pretend. He has a little puppy he named Fluffia that he thinks is like the cutest. Mm-hmm. And he's still working on his potty training. I told him I'd get him a cat if he gets potty trained. So it's looking like that might be a ways off though. And also, like, what was I thinking with that promise? And then Hayes is into bowling, everything bowling and balls and baseball. And he's a cuddler and just like total mama's boy. I woke up with him in my bed this morning. He snuck in, and Aspen is like the biggest girly girl ever. Today she had Western Day at school, and I let her wear this long gingham dress, and she said, OMG, mom, what if we have PE and I fall on my dress? Like, as she's twirling, like she couldn't wait to be a damsel in distress.
I love that. That is so cute. So they didn't attend the wedding then? No,
I never like heard anything about it.
Yeah. Was that interesting to you? Did you find that odd?
So. I mean, I can't ever imagine getting married without my kids, but
yeah. Maybe they'll have something else when they when they get back. I know you said that, having that stability and, providing that for your kids is very important to you. I mean, do you have a relationship regret, and what did you learn about yourself in your recent marriage?
So what I learned about myself in my recent marriage was, I think I was in a position of like, almost desperation to have a partner and to have someone to like raise these children with and bounce ideas off of, and to like share in beautiful moments and help like shoulder the burden of more difficult moments. And I think through that desperation, I made a rash decision to get married quickly. And that taught me a big lesson that like I need to figure out how to be good within myself and my children with, you know, as our own little family unit. And it's hard, but like, I cannot put them through that or myself through that again. And I won't do it.
Yeah. Do you regret it?
Yeah. Yeah, I regret it. 100%.
Yeah. Was it that a tough conversation to have with your kids about?
No, I didn't have.
You didn't have.
I didn't have a conversation.
Okay.
No, I didn't have a conversation with them about it. I think they're too little to really wrap their brains around it. Yeah. So, but he was living in our house. And so with my daughter, I had her like take some of his things and move them like into his car so that she could like have a moment of like understanding that it was done. Yeah. And she, I mean, it was hard for her. We talked about it and then that was that. But the boys they're like, whatever. Yeah.
I don't know if you're comfortable talking about it and it's totally up to you, but like, I don't know if you could really explain what really went wrong in those few months. Did you just realize that this was just not my person?
I think it's like way more. I think, you know, it's like always a snowball effect. It's never like one thing. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah, totally. Do you have any communication with him whatsoever?
We don't communicate, which is such a gift because I think that like, I'm the kind of person that when I move on, and I usually don't try to like revisit the past. And unfortunately, when you have children with someone, you have to revisit the past every day for the rest of your life. And so, and that's been, you know, a complete roller coaster for me with my kid's dad. So it's been so nice to be able to just cut things off, learn from my lesson and move on.
Yeah. Do you look back at that wedding day as a happy time in your life or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The wedding day was great. It was so much fun, intimate, and his family's wonderful. I mean, I don't have a bad thing to say about the Bidens at all. Like they were so warm and normal and welcoming and they felt like family.
Yeah. Did you dance with the president?
No.
Well, I mean, what was it like having them there? Did they give a good gift?
Yeah, he gave me a crystal bowl, like with the presidential seal on it. It's right there. Yeah. And Kamala Harris wrote me a note. But it was weird because there was Secret Service everywhere and there were snipers on, like around too. So like the craziest moment for me was when my daughter said, "Mommy, what are those guys doing?" And there was two snipers with these like massive guns, right? Like walking, because the president was getting ready to leave. So like they're packing up and going. So they have these massive guns. And I said, "Oh, honey, those people were there to protect the president because the president was here." And she said, "President Biden?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "No, he wasn't."
That's hysterical.
Right?
Yeah. Oh
and she was like talking to him. I mean, it was a tiny wedding. But you know, for her, the president's like saying Mickey Mouse, like it doesn't exist in person.
Right. Totally. I mean, after that experience, what are kind of your rules about introducing your kids to significant others now? Like, do you have to kind of rethink that a little bit?
I don't have any rules about that. And now I don't know if I kind of think that if I gave myself a rule, then I would be inclined to break it because that's just kind of my personality. So I'm trying to just make smart decisions, but also like, I don't want to mislead my children because I think that they can always read energy. And so if I'm trying to say like, this is my friend and they're really a romantic partner, I just don't think that's fair to my kids because it's kind of like denying their own feelings that are bubbling up. Mm-hmm. And so when I do introduce them to someone, which has only been like 3 people ever, mm-hmm. They know that it's romantic. Yeah. Like I'm very upfront with that.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, going back to like the wedding a little bit, I mean, you know, why did you kind of want to rush into it? Was that, like you said, kind of that desperation of, you know, I want to have this family unit?
I didn't want to rush into it at all.
You didn't?
It was not me. That was all him. Yeah, not me.
Interesting.
I never even wanted to get married again. But I have such a big heart and I just want my partner to be happy. And I know what it's like to go into a relationship where that already has a family, like with I have 3 kids. I did that with my ex-husband. He had 4 kids when I went into that family. So I know what it feels like to want to be a part of that unit.
Yeah. And you think that's what it was for him? He really wanted to be a part of that unit?
I would say so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, it's hard to know, like, he's not going to talk to you, but, I mean, yeah, he and all of the Owens and the Bidens are super, super tight knit family and super family oriented. And so is my family. And so I completely understand that.
Yeah. Does it even feel like you were married at that point, or does it seem like it was just?
I literally forget about that relationship. Like when I talk about relationships, I will completely forget about it. And I'll talk about like other people I've dated. And then I'm like, wait a minute, I was married. It's the weirdest thing. It feels so surreal. Like, I know the wedding made it seem very serious, obviously, but in my heart, it wasn't. And Nicole helped talk me through this.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, I think I need therapy. Like, I need to figure out what, and my therapist and Nicole were both like, look, you're okay. Like, you're processing this, you're moving on. Just because you had a piece of paper that like legally bound you two together doesn't mean that your heart was different.
Mm-hmm. No, that's true. It almost like it was just like you guys were at a big party together. And yeah, no, totally. I always have to ask the Little Housewives, but have they ever approached you about doing Ultimate Girls Trip or anything like that? Because
no, but I asked Andy, I want to do it so bad.
Yeah. And what did he say when you asked him?
That I missed the deadline.
Oh no.
I was like, well, what about the next one? And then I didn't hear back from him.
I'm sure you will. Would you ever return full-time? Do you still keep thoughts on Tamara returning, things like that?
I tried to return full-time a couple years ago, but I didn't get cast. That was when Heather came back.
Oh, interesting.
And then, but I don't live there. It'd be such a, like, I can't even imagine the logistics involved. But, and then Tamara's back. Like, I'm so happy for her because I know she wanted to be back, and she loves the energy and the people. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for her.
Definitely. I would love to see you back. I think that you'd be great on Ultimate Girls Trip. Do you miss it at all?
Kind of. It's fun. I would love to do it. Also, like, I'm a completely different person than I was on the show.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of people would be interested in, seeing where you are right now and, navigating life as a single mom and dating and things like that. I think it would be, really interesting.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, I want to get like back in front of the camera in some sort of capacity. I'm thinking like, it would be nice to be a panelist, like an opinion panelist, like on The View or something like that.
I can keep doing it. I definitely could.
That's the next stage.
That's the next step. Well, Meghan, I appreciate you always being so open and honest. And it's always great catching up with you.
Yeah. Nice chatting. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. And congrats on the podcast relaunch and the
thanks.
show. I can't wait to listen to it each and every week. Thank you.
Yeah. Intimate knowledge. Thank you.
For more news content and exclusive interviews, make sure to hit the sub, like, and bell button down below and visit usmagazine.com.